Hi, Sean Durham here again with my photo channel of creative photography. I just wanted to get my face into the video because I'm really just going to show you a lot of photos from the last year or 12 months. But I wanted to show you that what really is important is creativity. And that's why we pick up cameras and go out and take photos. I've had one or two comments over the last couple of years about people asking me for settings. What settings are the best settings and that. And let me tell you something, that's not what it is about. If you don't know what settings you should use when you're out in the middle of the day, say 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's winter, or if it's the middle of summer and it's bright and sunny, then you can figure that out by just quite simply practicing. And if you're in doubt, just put it on F8 and put your ISO on something like 400 or 100 in summertime, and shutter speed at 160, something like that, and then go out and take photos, and you'll see that, oh, I need to adjust slightly, and so you adjust something. But the creativity comes into thinking, okay, so it's all about the light and the darkness. So what shall I adjust? Shall I adjust the ISO? But I can't, it's on 100, it's fine. I need to get less light into the camera. So I'm on F8, I could bang it up to something like F11, and that would actually create a situation where you're so focused in that what is going to happen, you're going to have a better depth of field. It'll only be slightly, but you will have less light coming into the camera or into your photo. Or you could leave it on F8 and you could change your shutter speed up to, which might be a better idea, up to 250, and discover that you're not getting so much light in because the shutter is opening and closing so rapidly in comparison to 160 or 100 or 125. At 250, it's going to be like this. And that means that there's less light coming in, but you probably also, you get sharper shadows, is on the edges of the shadows, which is something that makes an awful lot of difference in a photograph, you know. The longer the shutter speed, the more the edges of the shadows begin to not become blurry, but you pick up the actual blending point between light and darkness. And there is this blending point there. And this comes from painting really, but it's an observation made by many great masters of painting. And that is that at the edge of a shadow, where we think it's just a cut between dark and light, it is not. There is always a little bit of local color right in the middle there, between the light and between the darkness. Think about that one thing when you're out shooting. And it doesn't matter if you're doing street photography or landscape photography, or especially when you're doing portrait photography, and where possibly colour is very important, like rosy cheeks and this part under here where there will be a little shadow under here, and then you've got more colour there. It adds to the quality of a portrait. But thinking about it, it's the point between the shadow and the overlap into the light. There's in between, there will always be a tiny, tiny bit of local colour. And the local colour meaning is the real colour. And then it will go into becoming more light, blown out maybe, or very, very light, and the colour gets sort of blown out. Not blown out like in photography where it's all gone, but rather it becomes less and less and less local colour. But right between the shadow and the light, there is this local colour. And if you look at that when you're adjusting, and you just look and see if you're picking it up, then you know that your lighting is probably just right. And then the highlights sort of up here, or on a building, it could be the corner of a building where it's highest and the sun is hitting it. You see that it isn't blown out, but you can see that maybe sandstone or something like that, and it's still got that very tiny little bit of sandstone color in it. You're going to find that the balance of light you're using is correct, and that will also mean that your colors will be well balanced. Rather use manual than automatic. I don't know, I don't understand why people want to use automatic all the time, to make it easier, right? So why ask about what settings somebody should use if you want to put it on automatic anyway? So I really give you the greatest respect if you're a beginner photographer and you get out there and you take photos and you say, I'm going to use manual all the time, because through manual settings you will always learn and learn and learn, and it won't take you long before you're not trying to figure out what should I do. You'll be spending your time thinking, I know what I want to do, and I'm going to experiment a bit and choose 3 or 4 different settings on a particular motive that you're looking at. And it could be street photography, or it could be landscape or portrait. The thing about it is that you will rapidly get to a point where you can control and manipulate the camera so that it gets the shot that you have in here. And this is why I'm always saying what it's really all about is creativity. And creativity, we put it together up here in our brains, but it comes from here. It comes from the heart. And if you love photography, you love images, you love the visual aspect of creating things, then you really need to get a handle on the idea of how to use the technical side of your camera. You don't need to sit down and start figuring out how many paces should I be from the object before I take a photo. You do all this by sort of rule of thumb, and rule of thumb comes from practice. This video is really me showing you a few photos. I just wanted to show my face and say something that might be helpful to you. But just think about that. It's all about creativity. That's where it comes from, because that's where the fire is. There is no fire in, what's the best settings or what's the best lens to have. There's no fire there. It's just technical stuff, and honestly, it makes me groan when I hear people banging on about their camera being brilliant and stuff and all that. I've got one camera which most people say, oh, that's like meh, but actually I could get a great shot out of it, brilliant shot with whatever it's got, 6 megapixels banger lens on there, and go out and take a wonderful composition and really do my best to get the color I can from that camera, and people will look at it and think, wow, that's a lovely photo. That's fine. It's not the camera, it's you, and it's what you got inside of here. All right, I just tapped the microphone, I think, so it all went funny. Anyway, enjoy the photos. I've just put a few photos up here, and you will see a photo of my cat or two, because I love my cats, and it's a part of what I'm talking about is creativity. I take photos of things that catch my eye, and I've got my cats and I love them, and when I'm at home and it's raining outside and I don't want to go out, what I do is I pick my camera up and I look and I see my cat do something interesting. I take a shot of them. They could be just sitting there staring at me, Anyway, enjoy and see you next time. Bye bye.